All right, guys, here you are at the next step. You've set up a great problem to solve, and now it's time to push yourself to think of ideas that go from mild to wild. The first thing we're going to do is give you a boundary condition. That means none of your ideas can entail a string. It can't be a string with wax. It can't be a string made out of imaginary fabric. It can't be a string tied in a loop. No strings. Boundary conditions force us to think outside of our typical ways of thinking. I also want to give you another great tool called analogous ideation. And that's where you think of your problem more conceptually. So in our case, I'm guessing for some of you, you've thought cleaning is a dirty job, right? And lots of people take dirty jobs and tackle them in different ways. But if I think of it that way, it gets me thinking of some mentor brands. And so, for example, what about Dyson? Dyson does a lot of dirty jobs. They started out with a great new vacuum cleaner, and then they went to a hair dryer and a hair curler. Well, maybe now they're looking at oral care and they're going, look at the size of this market, and it's really not that satisfied. That might be a great market for us to come into. So in analogous ideation, you guys put yourself in the role of Dyson. And what it's doing is it's making you think differently about the technology that you would use to solve it than if you were P&G. Challenge yourself to think of a couple other analogous ideation brands to come from. I'm going to give you a couple more to use. What about Amazon? When we think of Amazon, we think of unlimited set of options that can all be delivered to your doorstep in 24 hours. And another one that might be interesting is, what about Disney? Disney makes all kinds of experiences magical. What if Disney said, you know, this whole theme park thing's not going so well for us in COVID, but we want to get into oral care. Look at all these kids who don't floss. That could be a great opportunity for us to make a magical experience that extends to teeth cleaning. So there are three different brands for you guys to think about. In the credits here, you'll also see, don't be an ideal killer. You saw in the shopping cart video, you don't want to get the bell. There's a couple other fun types in there that we've all experienced. You don't want to wind up in the titles. So go ahead, or so you don't want to wind up in the credits. So go ahead and ideate, time box it at 15 minutes and go for quantity, go for wild ideas, suspend all your judgment. You can reel ideas back in later, and we can't wait to see what you come up with.